They set up the Watchers to control humans and foster civilization. But some of these Watchers didn't like what they were doing and actually fell in love with humans and mated with them. The Shining Ones declared war on these Watchers and tried to wipe them out. The bad hybrid species. They caused a global flood. Ever since then, the angels have done battle with the demons, the bad with the good. And we have often witnessed these things, painted them, drawn them, and written down records. These are records left behind by people such as Enoch, and remarkably, the same things spoken of thousands of years ago are still being witnessed today. Benevolent beings saving humans from disaster, battles in the sky, a war between those that would control us and those that would set us free. The reason we don't see all these things and find crashed craft or dead bodies everywhere is simple. Your mobile phone signal is yours. The person next to you can also talk on their phone at the same time. The conversations do not cross or get mixed up. One does not hear the other, and yet they coexist. The same is true here. What mystics are seeing are beings of different light in a different dimension. What people who are in the hypnagogic state, or between waking and sleeping, are seeing is another world, existing in the same place, in space and time as our own. One is attempting to control the other, and very often steps across the boundary. Beings from that other place actually crossed over to our dimension thousands of years ago and took control. They have been manipulating us ever since through their hybrid children. The jealousy of the god was that he wanted control and would never relinquish it. But there are angels of light that fight back, and the whole myth has become so mixed up
now. They don't look like
that it is confusing.
Those are bad guys.
The Freemasons are accused of worshipping the devil because they actually hold Lucifer in high esteem. Lucifer means light, not darkness.
Lucifer is the light bearer who is the devil, Mr. J.
Things, as Salvador Dali once said, are not always what they seem. But the big question is this: why? What do these beings need so much that they need to control us, to cause division, hatred? The answer comes in another question. What feeds wave? There can be no life without a wave form. It is life. When a wave stops, so does life. But it must be fed. It must have energy. To get a light bulb to glow, to emit its light waveform, it must be energized, has to be fed. Over billions of years,
when you pray to all these things, you're giving them your energy.
There were volcanoes, earthquakes,
you're helping them.
And eventually,
stop saying the names,
settled
the
down
titles.
After having created the optimum place
creator,
for life to exist.
The force, the source, it's in you.
Millions of years later, here we are, But alongside of us,
Look from
something
within,
else evolved. Something we cannot
not from
see with our
without.
ordinary eyes. As beings of light and parts of a spectrum we cannot see, it did not have the capacity to eat physical food, to feed its own light bulb from plants and animals. Instead, it evolved needing energy. We feed these entities with our hatred, greed, and desires. Without war, they starve. In peace, they perish. This is why the old hag of our dreams paralyzes us, because she is sapping our energy of fear. This is why alien abductees cannot move, because they are having the life force of the wave extracted.
resist praying to them,
This
and
is
they
why we
will flee.
humans are constantly manipulated to battle and hate each other.
Resist the devil.
We are creating food for the demons of the other world.
Resist
We
sin.
must stop.
Resist hate. Resist malice.
We must stop now playing the game they want us to play
Come to
and
love.
seek peace with each other regardless of the reasons. The reasons for our hatred are those created by the elite secret cabal in order to create hatred. Hatred of one religion or another is a prime example. There are no religions. They are created. They are imaginary. The differences between humans and their religions is a farce, and yet it has been used to foster huge hatred energy. Often conspiracy theorists want to fight the system, to break the power of the elite, but the answer to the problem is more subtle than simply feeding back into the system of hatred. The answer is not being part of the system. The system is very simple and yet hard to see. It involves every element of our lives. What we eat is controlled. We are told what to eat, when and where to eat it. The food itself is often garbage. We are guinea pigs on a massive meat-eating locust machine. We buy a hot dog because we've seen the stars eat them in the movies, and it's somehow cool. That hot dog is made up of the leftovers of several different animals swept up off the floor, turned into a watery pulp, and ejected into a plastic bag. It's carcinogenic. It causes cancer. It has been proven to increase cancer. We pour chemicals all over it that taste nice and wash it down with a chemical cancer-inducing soda. It is not natural. And that is the answer here. If it is not natural, then it is not good. If man has had his hand in it, then watch out. It's part of the system. This same premise can be rolled out to the rest of our lives with drugs, clothing, housing, finance, everything. Almost everything is part of the system, feeding the system. Stepping out of the system and peacefully going back into nature takes us back to a time when our history reveals we were a peaceful species before they came and revealed themselves to us. Before war began, before we started eating meat, before we became jealous of others and hatred set in, before we were controlled and were one with the nature around us. Salvador Dali was a unique artist. He saw reality in a different way to the rest of us and mocked the system. He bent reality, and to us it appears strange, but to him it was reality. My reality is different to yours. Even further away is the reality of my dog to my own, and even further still is the reality of an ant or a bee or a fish. and yet we all coexist. What is it, then, that causes me to hate members of my own species? It is not reality I should wish for, and it is created within us by the elite cabal. Let's step out of their system and do the right thing and stop believing the reality that is heaped upon us by men and women that wish to feed darkness. Let's open our minds to a different reality to the one we see on the TV screen. To the one where lion can lay down with a lamb. To one of pure balance.